European companies cut jobs as economy sputters. Thousands of job cuts on the way across struggling sectors in Europe. German Fortune 500 companies have announced over 60,000 layoffs this year. The biggest cuts are yet to come. Headlines like these have been making waves since the middle of 2024 in Europe. From Germany to Netherlands, France, Switzerland, Sweden, Italy, Spain, Norway, there is bloodbath everywhere as top multinational companies have been cutting thousands of jobs across Europe. So what has suddenly happened to this region, which has been known for its secure jobs and unmatched working conditions since the early 1950s? How does this impact the workforce, both local and migrants? Which countries and industries have been most affected? And how does the social safety nets in the form of unemployment benefits help workers in this employment crisis? Hello friends, and welcome back to The Happy Host. Today we will be discussing all these points as a major job crisis looms in Europe, threatening to change the labor market dynamics across the region. But before we begin, do not forget to subscribe to my channel. And if you're already supporting me, thank you so much for all your love. We hear of layoffs and job cuts all across the world. Then why is this Europe story significant? Historically, job security in Europe has been stronger than other regions, particularly in countries which have had strong labor protection laws, strong trade unions, and extensive social safety nets in the form of unemployment benefits. Now let us go back a few years in history to understand how this all shaped up. Following the Second World War, that is through 1950s and 60s, Europe experienced a rapid industrialization driven by the post-war economic recovery and expansion. Europe was not unified at this time, and each country was independently transforming its own nations. So there was strong demand for labor in sectors like manufacturing, infrastructure, public services, and others. And it was around this time that several countries formulated strong labor regulations, including labor protection laws, and also introduced benefits like healthcare and pensions. During the oil crises of the 1970s, unemployment rose in Europe. But because of the strong labor laws that were already in place in some of the countries, the local laborers were protected, and the impact was more on migrant workers. And countries like France and Germany ended their guest worker schemes. The 1990s to 2000s marked the formation of European Union, where the countries of Europe integrated and formed a single Eurozone. And as trade and job opportunities increased, several countries adopted what was called the flexicurity model, that is, flexibility with security. And it was around this time that unemployment benefits were introduced as a means of balancing labor market flexibility with security against unemployment. The first signs of erosion of job security in Europe were felt more recently during the global recession triggered by the financial crisis of 2008. There were large-scale unemployment in Europe around that time, especially in sectors like banking, construction, and manufacturing, those that were directly linked to the subprime crisis. Governments in various countries had cut down on a lot of welfare programs, and temporary contracts and underemployment became more common, especially among the younger workers. But the pandemic proved Europe's continued commitment to job security of its workers. There were significant downturns in industries like tourism, hospitality, retail, but wage subsidy schemes adopted by the member countries ensured that their workers were protected and not laid off. So now we understand that there have been three major factors which have contributed to job security in Europe. Firstly, it's the strong labor laws. European countries have stringent labor protection laws which make it difficult for employers to terminate the employees without proper reasons. Secondly, the strong labor unions which have worked consistently towards ensuring favorable working conditions for the workers as well as for improved job security. And thirdly, the social safety nets. There are generous unemployment benefits, pension and healthcare even during the unemployment period to provide financial stability during job transition. So what happened now? During 2024, we heard of massive layoffs of thousands of employees across Europe, across sectors ranging from telecom, automobile, banking, construction, manufacturing, retail, aerospace, you name it. Big names like Germany's Bosch and ThyssenKrupp, France's Michelin, Auchan, Airbus, Netherlands' Unilever, Nike, and AkzoNobel, which owns the Dulux paints, Switzerland's UBS after acquiring Credit Suisse, Italy's UniCredit, Sweden's Telia and Northvolt, Norway's DNB banks, and there are so many others which have announced major job cuts in the past few months, causing unprecedented impact on the labor market in Europe. These developments highlight the ongoing economic challenges and the industry-specific issues that have been plaguing Europe, leading to such massive workforce reductions across Europe. The reasons cited for such drastic cuts have been varied, from economic slump and reduced demand to cost cuts for improved margins, from increased competition from global players to the Ukraine war. So how are these layoffs impacting Europe's job market? Well, of course, this is creating a surplus of highly skilled workers in the European market. And with so many workers competing for very few roles that are now available, the displaced workers are finding it difficult to find an equivalent position. Many laid-off workers will now have to retrain and upskill themselves for emerging jobs in the areas of, say, automation, digital and AI, renewable energy, and so on. This will also give rise to the gig economy, as more people would be taking up freelance, part-time, or contract work to supplement their income. Now, in the middle of all this, how does the unemployment benefit programs support the workers during this crisis? Now, as we know, Europe has very strong unemployment benefits, which may vary by country, but most nations provide support to individuals laid off due to company issues, not due to the employees' performance issues. And these benefits range from monetary support to access to trainings and assistance for finding a new job. Of course, there are conditions as to who is eligible for these unemployment benefits, how much, and for how long. Firstly, workers will be eligible only if they have been employed for a minimum period of time and have also contributed to the social security system and the unemployment insurance fund. Secondly, this support is provided for a specific period of time only, ranging from a few months to 2 or 2.5 years, which varies by country and by certain conditions, for example, whether the individual is single, has a family, children, and so on. But this is definitely a temporary arrangement to tide over the unemployment period till the worker finds a new job. And thirdly, the monetary support is a certain percentage of the individual's last drawn salary. So it could again range from 50 to 80%, varied by country and certain conditions. Till now, the unemployment support program has been working fine. But looking at the spate of layoffs in 2024 alone, especially in countries with higher payouts like in Scandinavia, there will be a huge strain on the unemployment fund and several welfare schemes. So what does this signal for the future of Europe's employment security and workforce dynamics? Well, the current layoffs have certainly created immediate challenges, but these can also serve as a catalyst for structural shifts in the European job market. External pressures like rising costs, slump in demand, global competition will continue to impact job security everywhere in the world, and Europe will no longer be an exception. As companies are increasingly looking towards automation and outsourcing, this will lead to even higher job uncertainties. And this is inevitable. Europe cannot contain it any longer. In response, we may see labor policy reforms, with governments possibly introducing incentives for companies to retain their staff, invest in their training programs, reskill and use them in other areas, and also in creating new jobs in sustainable industries. Alternative work models may emerge, For example, the gig economy may grow and people may choose to work freelance, part-time or contract in order to regain control of their skills, time and income. The wave of layoffs across Europe in the past few months highlights several trends and challenges and signal a significant shift in job security and employment models across Europe. Employees in Europe have to accept the fact that long tenure in a single company may not be guaranteed any longer, and they should consider this in their career planning. Even traditionally stable sectors, for example, banking, consumer goods, retail, are facing tough times. No industry is insulated from uncertainty, and no job can be considered safe anymore. Workers will have to adapt to changing market needs, such as growing demand for expertise in areas like renewable energy, AI, digital, and so on. The recent layoffs serve as a wake-up call about the fragility of Europe's job security amidst shifts in economic, technology, and environmental landscapes. While Europe's historical commitment to worker protection has been a cornerstone of its economic model, the region must now adapt to the modern-day reality, where job security cannot be guaranteed. Hence, worker protections must be reimagined. So these were some of my thoughts on a topic that is making headlines every day. Do let me know what you think of my point of view, and also share how you think new workforce models will emerge in Europe. If you like my content, please subscribe to my channel and like, share and comment on this video. Hope to see you again next week with a new topic. Till then, bye-bye.